Hello, Radiant One, and welcome to Spiritual Business with Mariaestela, the show and podcast for soul-driven, heart-based spiritual entrepreneurs and Magdalene's Rising wanting to lead with love in business and life. I am your host, spiritual business coach, mentor, catalyst, and facilitator, Mariaestela, and it is my deep honor, my great pleasure, and joy to share this episode with you. If you feel overwhelmed by 1,000,001 brilliant ideas, unsure where to begin, or have a program, a course, product, or service that's been asking to be born through you for a while, go to mariaestela.com/DCIA to download the free guide, Divine Clarity and Inspired Action that I've created for you. Divine Clarity and Inspired Action will help you connect deeply with your divine feminine essence of gnosis, wisdom, and intuition, as well as activate your divine masculine essence of action, creation, and building, so that you may experience the satisfaction and the liberation that comes from being, doing, and living your soul's divine purpose. On my website, you'll also find show notes, transcripts, and previous episodes. Hello, Radiant One, and a very big and a very warm welcome to today's episode, in which we're going to be diving deep into being open to a different possibility or a different end result than the one you were actually perhaps necessarily to start with looking for. This is inspired by a recent episode that I had, and this is not necessarily it does happen from time to time in my sessions with clients. For a few months, I've been working with a client. When she came to me, she was overworked, she was stressed out, and she was really wanting to expand she thought she wanted to expand her own business. She works with challenged young children and young teenagers, and she was wanting to explore the opportunity or the possibility of expanding her business so that she would become, a soulpreneur and be by herself and work by herself and just have her own business and not be employed. So in that process, one of the things that we always do is we get very, very clear on what is it that you truly want. And one of the benefits of getting clear is, not only knowing what you truly want, but also for, God, the universe, source, whatever you want to call it, to actually deliver what you truly want. And as we were going through this process, her, like I said, initial goal was to be on her own, to start expanding her business. That was what we were working towards, supporting her in getting more clients and more exposure and so forth. However, during one of the sessions, what I heard was that there seemed to be something else. There seemed to be more that she actually wanted. And so rather than just stay focused or fixed on one thing, thinking, oh, this is it, we're just going to run with that, I invited her to be open to the possibility or the opportunity of something more or something different. And during one of our sessions, what actually came through was how when she envisioned what she envisioned, and when she went deep and was, in her true self and satisfied, was not that she was working on her own, but it was actually to have a place, to have a school for these challenged children and young adults, and to be part of a team that supported them, to work with specific methods, to receive supervision and to expand. And what was so interesting, and this is one of the things that I want you to take away from this episode, is that notice the difference when you speak or in your body, because when something truly tickles your soul and fills your heart with joy, there is an excitement, there is a joy, there is a satisfaction, there is a rush that comes up in you And that cannot be ignored. That's, that's really where the soul that you are, the spirit within, begins to flow abundantly and be excited. So that's that's one of the signs. So if you're someone who's in your dream, or if you're working on something, notice how you speak to your friends or your coworkers or your relations. Notice the difference in your, I want to say vibration, because it is truly a difference in vibration. There's one is like exciting and lifting you up, and the other is more like flat and not necessarily very vibrant or alive. So, like I said, in our session, what I noticed was that seemed to be going on. And so I had her define, what is it that if you we're just playing a game, if you were to have this thing, what would that look like? And so she made a full list of, the values, the amount of people she wanted to work with, the amount of children, the kind of place that it was, where it was in terms of, far out in the country, and all of these things we made sure to put in place. And what happened was about, I don't know, probably about a month or so later, a month and a half perhaps. Also, I want to say, during this process, what I had her do was I had her reach out to other people who had started these kinds of places to kind of see if they would be willing to share with her their experience, their knowledge, their challenges, so she could get an idea and an understanding for what was required. Because, as much as I am a positive, optimistic person, as heavily, deeply connected to love that I am not one of those business coaches who will, have you jump off a cliff without checking and making sure that everything is quote unquote in order. Of course, there comes a time where you have to take the leap, and that's filled with excitement as well, and sometimes also fear. But in order to really set yourself up most, for success, best way possible, check things out. Like I said, for her, it was about, getting in contact with people who'd done what she was actually considering, and to be, walk in open with an open mindset and open eyes, and not be blindly just thinking that, all is well, and also knowing what kind of budgets and money you needed in place and so forth, the funding and so forth. So like I said, about a month and a half later, I think it was, one of her former colleagues called her and said, there's this job at the place that I'm working at, and I want you to apply for it. And she was in her current job, overworked and stressed out, and she hadn't really thought about getting another job, because she thought that she was going to do the solo entrepreneur thing. She thought that was what she was, doing her own business. So initially she wasn't really interested, but they kept pushing. And so she took a look at it, and the thing is, from the outside, what she could see from the outside, it basically matched everything that she had put together in our sessions in terms of a list of what she wanted. Like the size of the place, the location of the place, the values and the foundation, everything seemed to be this exact same, which was kind of like, what? And then she chose to send in an application. And long story short, after two job interviews, she was hired as a manager. It's a manager position. She's in a leadership position, and basically what this is that she got clear. She got very clear on what she wanted. And she was also courageous enough to actually follow my guidance and move into an area that was very initially scary to her, because, knowing that this is your dream, you also then get there's no turning back. Once you get clear on what it is that you want, there's really no turning back. And so that's where fear can kick in. So we worked through that. She, like I said, got the job, and in her interviews with the place, you know, all of the values and all of the focus, the principles of their teaching and so forth, everything is aligned with her. Now, you may be saying, okay, well, wasn't her dream to be a solopreneur? That's what she thought. She thought she wanted her own business, but and that's not out of the question. Actually, what I see is that I see it as an expansion. She expanded. She's expanding, and the universe has now provided her with the most perfect opportunity, the most perfect, divinely aligned learning opportunity to be able to really dig in and see like what is required, to know the budgets, to know this is a place that's not, it's not near her home. So this is something that she'll be able to, maybe she'll be there for 3 to 5, 10 years. Maybe she'll be there the rest of her career. But I hope that this serves as a reminder to you that you're, to stay open to the ways that the universe is trying to deliver what you really want to you, so that you may think that your starting point is this, but as you dig deep and as you gain clarity, there may be other things that come up along the way. And I encourage you to explore those with an open mindset, so that you're able to allow yourself to have, basically the universe deliver your perfect situation, your dream job, your perfect, your dream business, whatever it is. Stay open. And I want to say this: if you want to gain clarity over everything that's going on in your mind, and if you have a lot of ideas or different directions you could go in, my Divine Clarity and Inspired Action Guide is totally free, and it's available if you go to mariaestela.com/DCIA. You can download that there. And that can help you and support you in gaining clarity. And of course, if you're someone who's looking for a coach who can support you in that as well, I am open. You can go to mariaestela.com/apply to apply for a free session in which we will be diving into what's on your heart and on your mind. Those are real sessions. It's not a sales session. It's a real session that will allow for you to see if working with me and us working together is right for the both of us. So this is what I want to leave you with. Stay open, stay connected, and continue your investigation and your questioning of, if something comes up for you, then make sure that you actually take a look and see, allow it to give you the wisdom that it's there for you to give, and really allow for it to move you forward into your next step. That is what I had for you today. I want to know, have you had this experience? Have you had this experience where you started out thinking, this is the way that I'm going, and then, in uncovering and following that path, something shifted and you actually knew, okay, this is not the direction, this is the other direction, and that was actually the most satisfying, nourishing thing for you? Comment in the comments. You can find the link in the show notes, and that is what I had for you today. I love you. Take care. That is what I had for you in today's episode of Spiritual Business with Mariaestela. I hope it served you well. For all of the deeds and details, click the link in the description, and if you want to support the spreading of this message, share it with a friend or on social media, or leave me a comment or review. God bless.